When you talk about economic issues of women, it is very important to focus on agriculture women workers because they are landless, so they are working on other people's fields. The latest data that we have says that it's not even 2% of women who have land, that there is still a very intense feudal culture, economics also in the country, and that's the biggest barrier. The second is also that women do not have access and control over food production. With the emphasis on ethanol, which is a demand from European markets especially, the amount of land which is being used to grow sugarcane is increasing at a very high rate. The problem with sugarcane is that it stands for a whole year and the women are forced to go and work on the sugarcane fields because there is nothing else that they can do. When they cut the sugarcane, they only get the fodder, they don't get paid at all. They have no land where they can grow their own fodder. So they really want the sugarcane to just get the fodder back for their animals. The second issue, that is all the land is occupied by sugarcane, there is no land left to grow wheat, which is the staple food crop. They are not paid, they are landless, and they have also no food to consume. And so that is really creating a cycle of poverty and hunger. We find that more women are being reported who are anemic now. There are various major pillars of food sovereignty. Number one, right to food. Number two, culturally acceptable food, which is also should be safe and nutritious food. Thirdly is that absolute control and access over natural resources, especially productive resources, which are tied to agriculture production. And the most critical point for many of us is also that there should be no imperialist policies within agriculture production. We have a very long history of having bilateral agreements with IMF, with the International Monetary Fund. There is also the World Bank. Then we have a lot of grants coming in from UK Aid, USAID, then AusAid, Japan. All of them have conditionalities when they give money. A lot of them are now asking outright for privatization. Privatization in agriculture. They are coming and talking about genetic manipulation of livestock. They say that our livestock does not produce enough milk, and so they will tamper with it, and then we will be buying a lot of very expensive genetic material from either from Australia or from Europe. Nestle is already in Pakistan. A Dutch corporation, Friesland Campina, just bought one of our local manufacturers. All of them are aided by their own government officials. China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which has been signed in 2014 with China, under which we have allowed them access. There are 3 economic corridors that are being built from the top of the country called Gilgit to a port that the Chinese have built, which is the Gwadar port. And they are accessing that through the entire country. A lot of the land has been lost to the economic routes. They also have made special economic zones inside the country, which means that they are going to grow agriculture, take it out. They have opened up coal mines and they have already set up a coal power plant in a very, very fertile area of Pakistan. So the impacts are just so many, with extreme impacts on women. The WTO has a law on safe foods and food standards. It comes under the Codex Alimentarius, under FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN. So the Americans and the Europeans have always pushed for standardization of food, and their latest that they have been intervening on is milk. We sell open milk in the market, which means that it's actually quite good healthy food, and it's really good healthy food for the rural economies, for women as well, because you have milk, you have butter, and you have what we call butter oil, which we use for cooking. All of this is very healthy and it's really needed by the people because they don't have much access to food. Now what they're saying is because of food standards, we cannot sell open milk in the market. And that means that ultimately they will not allow women to sell the milk which they produce. Part of the WTO agreements, we have an agreement called the Agreement on Agriculture, where we give access, market access to foreign corporations. This is what I meant by imperialism in agriculture. And since we have signed the WTO, we found that we have now, the markets are full of processed foods So we have cereals coming from Kellogg's. The whole market is flooded with that. And then we also have like finished food products like KFC, McDonald's, Pizza Hut. All of them are really, really so bad for our local production, because there is also a status issue of brand names, Everybody is attracted to that. That is how they're taking over the whole economy, And we are giving away our foreign exchange. We don't have much foreign exchange, and we get more and more in debt. I remember Dunkel, DG Dunkel, the guy, the Director General of WTO, and he said, we will open up your markets with a crowbar. And they have really worked at it. All of this has created immense hunger and poverty in our regions. And so for us, the call now is really emphasizing, number one, a decision making by the producers themselves, by the small and landless producers, and then saying that foreigners or Western countries who have other agendas or have imperialist agendas of controlling our land, our production, need to be out of decision making. In the beginning, Roots for Equity started working directly with women, and we found very soon that that doesn't work because men have absolute control over women's mobility. So we changed our tactics, and we started mobilizing and organizing men first. And now we find that if there are actually progressive men in any village, and they understand the politics of patriarchy, of globalization, of feudalism, they are very willing to include women in the force to push against these absolute structural barriers. And once they are politically organized, they are the very first to come and say, why don't you come and work and organize our women? Once we did the very first level, now they don't need us because they have their own cadre of women who are well trained and are quite organized, understand the politics. We aim towards is genuine democracy, and the genuine democracy question rests firmly on the principles of right to decision making, and the decision making has to be in the people's hands. And if the decision making is with us, we will access control over how resources will be used, and they have to be used for the absolute welfare of our own people, for whether it is women, whether it is children, it is the people with disabilities, aged. There are very, very different realms of people in any country, and every one of them has the right to live a decent, equitable life. And for us, there is no other way but to fight for control over resources.